Hello everybody. I'm in the shade now from my same spot, but this may be the last video I do from this spot because there's supposed to be somebody coming into it. I'm surprised they're not here already, but on Fridays, yeah, I'm good. On Fridays people sometimes work and then show up at their campsite after work. Is this Friday or is this Saturday? I don't know. It's Saturday. See what happens when you don't have to work? You forget what day it is. But same thing. They have things to do, they got to get chores done, and then they come out and go fishing or whatever they're going to do. And they may also just cancel. But it's free right now, and if I have to get up, I will. I do have somebody over to my right, mowing the grass. The main grass all around us is dormant. But this is the grass that grows up in the wet areas, and they can't get to it all year. But the lake is way down. I don't know if we can see. That is way down. All that green that you can see, where is it? Well, in there. That's that muddy area that I got caught in when I wasn't paying attention. If you walk into something that you're not supposed to be at, you don't keep plodding ahead trying to get out of it. You back out of it. Okay, he's going to be a little noisy, but hopefully you can hear me fine. If it's a problem, I'll redo it. All right, for our message today, it's maybe for many of you a very popular song, Onward Christian Soldiers. And I'm just going to kind of read the verses of it here. I'll skip the refrain and I'm not going to sing it to you. You don't deserve that kind of punishment. But Onward Christian Soldiers. Why can't I say that? I glued them in good this morning. They should be okay. No, these are real teeth. Onward Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Christ the Royal Master. Where are we? Christ the Royal Master leads against the foe, forward into battle. See his banner go. Let's just pick it apart a little bit. How do you fight? Do you fight the way Iran and their proxies do? They're terrorists. They pop up, kill somebody, basically murder somebody, and then go back into their hidey hole. They're cowards. They're facing a real war right now, one they're not prepared to fight. So they're getting punished big time. Israel's fighting a war. You fight a war to win. You keep marching forward, carrying the banner high so they can see who you are and why you're there. Maybe that's the last thing they see before they die. You don't go to war unless you have to. But when you have to, you better go to win. This park is noisy on the weekend. Okay. So again, I'm going to skip the refrains. I'll read all the verses here. At the sign of triumph, Satan's host does flee. They're trying to get out. Did you hear that Egypt said that they would take the sick and hospital type people and take care of them in Egypt? And they started checking the list. 30% of the people on the list were on a known terrorist list. They're trying to sneak out. The cowards. That's what they are. Cowards. On then, Christian soldiers, on to victory. Hell's foundations quiver at the shout of praise. Brothers, lift your voices. Loud your anthems raise. Let him hear you. You think that when they marched around Jericho, that they were silent? Of course not. The Bible says that they made noise as much as they could, day and night. Like a mighty army moves the church of God. Brothers, we are treading where the saints have trod. We are not divided, all one body we. one in hope and doctrine, one in charity. So we don't, Israel could have gone in and wiped out that entire country, Gaza. I'm calling it a country just out of courtesy, in a day and a half. There'd have been nobody left behind, not even the people that weren't terrorists. They could have killed everybody. It's taking time like now because they're trying to be kind and charitable to those that were caught up in it. But they're killing every last terrorist, and they're not letting them escape. They're moving closer to the hospital, and they're still trying their rhetoric, and it's not working. The problem is Iran's made a mistake again. If they didn't want all-out war, which they might have, they didn't. They should not have done the atrocities they did. But if they do want it, we're going to give it to them. And they're going to get every bit of it. They're trying to use propaganda around the world, and the world is getting caught. The hospital bombing that destroyed thousands of people, and they were murdering them, and they were cutting their hearts off. All this garbage. They got an actor up there. They see the pictures. Amir Safadi posted some pictures of him. He's in like 5 or 6 different scenes playing different characters. This is a show, and the world was buying it. But now the only people that are buying it are those that fully support what they're doing. And again, the riots and the marches in the streets now, they're paid protesters. Fortunately, the countries aren't as bad as the paid protesters, but it's still a war. Okay. The 4th stanza, onward then ye people, join our happy throng. Blend with ours your voices in this triumphal song. Glory loud and honor unto Christ the King. This through countless ages, men and angels sing. So if you've ever sung that song in church, typically you'd be out of a hymnal because you don't remember all the verses. But it's a call to get behind God, to sing praises to Him, and then to march into battle. Now the battle is not a physical war like Israel's fighting right now. It shouldn't be. It's a spiritual war, but it's still a war. Now, Paul describes fellow Christians as fellow soldiers when he's writing to them. He does this in Philemon, I think. Philippians, in the first 2 or 3 verses, he calls them soldiers. Philemon, Paul describes fellow Christian soldiers. The Greek word is sestratiot, I think. An image of a soldier is also used in Timothy 2, 3 through 4. Let's go ahead and read some of these. Therefore, endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. 2 Timothy 2, 3 through 4. No man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of his life, that he may please him who has chosen him to be a soldier. You got to put yourself behind, your personal life behind, and get out there and be a soldier. If you're not, you're subject to get killed. You wouldn't want that, right? So, we're soldiers. Make sure you put your armor on. Ephesians. Make sure you do your... I was contemplating doing a, all right, maggots, but I can't say that with a straight face. I couldn't be a drill instructor. Drop and give me 50. I remember, what's his name, Pullman? There's a movie that with Tom Cruise. God, what's it called now? I've seen it a gazillion times. They go back, they basically repeat the same day over and over again until he gets it right. Emily Blunt's in it. They have these armored suits, which are kind of futuristic. May actually be usable. I'm getting this light reflecting off of me now. It's not. Where's that coming from? I must have the sun popping out behind me again. All right, let me see if I can Well, if it's going to be there no matter where I move, I'll move it over here. Okay. But they fight the same day over and over again, and they eventually win. It's kind of a modern day war version of Groundhog Day. We get to do the same day over and over again until we get it right. Well, in essence, that's what our life is. We get to do our life over and over until we get it right. And when we get it right, we go to heaven. That's our reward. So keep the fight up. Don't worry about the stuff going on over there. That's just a simple war. We know how to fight wars, and so does Israel. The enemy's finding that out. But the enemy thinks that if they can push us into a World War III, that they're going to win. There's going to be a lot of disappointed soldiers in hell. And they're going to probably be cheering on the final battle of Armageddon in hopes that Satan will win that. We're told he won't. So why does he keep going? Pride. Don't let pride get in the way. Not loving God with all your mind, soul, and spirit, and having pride are probably the two biggest sins that God has to deal with. Because pride is what turned Lucifer into Satan. God doesn't create imperfection. He creates perfection. So Lucifer had to be perfect when he was created. I've talked about this before. I might do a full study on it at some point, but frankly, I don't think he deserves the time. But be safe and don't be frightened by the things that are happening. And if we die, we're with Jesus. If we live and are raptured, we're with Jesus. It doesn't matter. The rapture has to be soon, but we don't know the time. We're still in a high watch. They've got until, I think, November 13th or something on one of the calendar shifts. That's if it matches up with that. It doesn't match any calendar. This is a unique event, the rapture is. But it does have to happen for us to get out of the way so that Satan can take over using the Antichrist. We're stopping him from doing what he wants to do. He's got to be angry about that. We're praying that he can't win and take over countries. We're trying to get a revival in the United States. Of course, that's not in the Bible, so God will say no, but it prevents Satan from basically taking over. And we'd stop the Antichrist too. So we have to be out of here. How are we doing on time? I'm going to be done just about the time that guy gets done with the lawnmower. Yep, we just stopped in the shade. Take some water in. Well, this is a little shorter than normal, but I just wanted to make the point. Be ready. We are fighting a war, but a spiritual war. Keep your spiritual knives sharp. No physical knives. If you get called to war, you get called to war. That's a different thing. But a spiritual war, we're all equipped. Doesn't matter what shape you're in. You could be out of shape. You're not doing real push-ups. Read a verse 50 times. Memorize it. Then you will have a tool for later on. Be safe. Jesus said, don't worry. Believe him. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless. Okay, this brown that's right here, that used to be grass all along there. And out on that point where that tree is, he's cutting that. See, he's in there, in the shade over there. In that point that's between those two orange trees on this bank, on the other side is where those deer were yesterday. There's about 10 of them came down there to water. We have a new trailer in here. There's probably a couple more. There's not going to be too many more days of this because they're shutting it down at the end of the month. See smoke coming up from a campsite there. and I added a tarp on the end of my tent here. I'm trying to work. I'm reading the Bible online or on my computer, and I'm trying to work, and the sun is hitting this in the morning, and I can't even see the screen, so I put that tarp up. I may take it down when the sun shifts a little bit more or when it gets colder. I wouldn't mind a little sun heating the tent, but I want to work. And I'm just walking back to the tent. So you can see I'm not that far away. But where am I going to go if this guy comes in here? At the very top of the screen, you can see a picnic table over there. I may go there. It's warming up and I can get out earlier. Isn't that beautiful? That's my view every day, morning and night. And there's where I just was recording. Have a good one, everybody. Blessings.